Hi, SV. This is Michael, the founder, owner, and the materials writer for all of your lessons at stealth.michaelbuckoff.com. Thank you for completing. It looks like you're doing the pronunciation pretest for vowel and consonant sounds. You're one of my TOEFL speaking bootcamp students. Now, as one of my students, you can send me speaking practice every day, and I will comment on it. I'll make corrections, and I'll send you an email along with my audio comments. Now, there's another option. If you want more individual feedback, I also offer TOEFL private lessons. You can learn more about those by going to bettertoeflscores.com. All right, so the first step is you're doing the pronunciation pretest. Why are you doing this? You're trying to figure out what problems you're having with your pronunciation, and that, of course, can affect your TOEFL score, your speaking score.
So here's the pronunciation pretest for vowel consonant sounds A and
Okay.
B parts. So I start now. Pot, boat, wrong, crow, honor, over, father, toe, pat, pot, map, mop, tack, talk, on, on, mac, mock.
Okay, so I think lesson number 8, it's not mock, but mock. Pot, mop, talk, on, mock. So you can work on that second sound there in lesson 8. In lesson 7, be careful of the TH. Make sure you get your tongue between your teeth. It's though.
Pride, brown, proy, lie, loud, loyal, pie, pound, gate,
Pound. Ow, pound. So you can work a little bit more on your diphthongs in lesson number 9. The diphthong involves two sounds coming together to form one sound. You're not completely forming those sounds. So lesson number 9.
it, late, let, made, met, played, pled, den, den.
Now, I think with lesson 10, you can make the longer vowel a little bit longer. So you say gate, get, late, let, mate, met, blade, bled. Right? So you can take a look at those. Okay, let's keep going. Excuse me.
Meat, meat, peat, pit, lip, lip, seat, sit, heat, hit.
Yeah, I think with this sound you need to work on, it's the E. Notice how my lips are tighter, right? They're more tense. My tongue is tense. And then you have meat, peat, leap, seat, heat. So you can work on, I think, lesson number 11, especially on the first sound. So let's contrast them. Meat, met.
Look, look, luck.
No, it's look, Luke. Ooh. See the rounding of the lips there? Ooh, Luke.
Took, tool, tough, good, cool.
Okay, with that T, we'll see if this comes up again when you get to the T consonant sound, but you need to not duff, but tough. A little bit more aspiration with that particular sound.
Match, mash, cheap, sheep, feather, fisher.
It's feature, fisher.
Shaved, shaft, cheer, off.
No, it's cheer, sheer. So the CH and the SH are slightly different consonants there.
Off, half, fine, wine, fan, van, buffer, they were,
Yeah, I think in lesson 14, that V like van, vine. You need to pronounce the V with more vibration there.
how, habit, who, rehash, behavior, hate, Batman, bitten, important, brightening, hat track, threatened, major, measure, fragile, Fraser, legend, lesson, engine, Acer.
Yeah, a lot of trouble with lesson 16 there. Okay, so you have major, measure, fragile, Fraser, legend, legion. So that second sound, zh, it's kind of like a Z and a J combined to create that voiced palatal consonant sound there.
Large, Asa, cake, kek, sink, sack, came, game, cap, gap, lake, lag, lean, rare, better, luggage, rugged, other, right, light, committed, base, pace, flap, flab.
Okay, I think with the P, especially in the beginning of the sound, you need to pronounce that with more air. Pace, bass, flap, flab.
Gap, cap, lap, lab, bay, bay.
Again, the pay, not bay, but pay. Pay, bay. So definitely lesson 19 you need to study.
Lies, lies, zip, zip, zoo, zoo, maze, maze, Eliza, Elijah, multiple.
Yeah, I think in lesson 20, the Z, you need to pronounce that, learn how to pronounce that with more vibration. So I'm going to write that down as a lesson.
Robert, example, pressure, principle, number, people, philosopher.
This is good. No problem.
Volcanism, rhythm, maximum, question, summer, reason, casp, often, tip, tip, card, card, tight, tide, train, train, fat, fad, team, dream.
Now, one thing I've noticed as I'm going through here is we have two kinds of consonants. We have voiceless consonants, which means there's no vibration in the vocal folds when you produce a sound, for example, the S, as in S. But then you have voice consonants like the Z, where there is vibration in the vocal folds here, right? So here's what you want to remember. When a word ends in a voice consonant, the vowel before it should be a little bit longer. Now, if the word ends in a voiceless consonant, then maybe that vowel before it can be shorter. So that's why if I go to lesson 19, I say cap, cab, lap, lab. So notice when the B's at the end, I make the vowel before it a little bit longer. So it goes back to 23 even if you say fat, fad, tight, tide. So you want to remember that. That's an important, that can actually help you to speak more clearly, remembering that idea.
Tie, tie.
Now this is tough, not tie. Watch where my tongue is in relation to my mouth and my teeth. It's thigh, breath, breathe.
Breath, breathe, teeth, teeth, through, though, worth, worthy.
Okay, you got better as you went through the pairs of words, but still I think you can work on that. Okay, so what do we know so far? What I just did is we're trying to figure out specifically which areas in the pronunciation area of my course you need to focus on the most, right? So here they are, lesson 8, lesson 9, lesson 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 16, 19, 20, 23, and lesson 24. So what do you need to do now? Your next step is go back to the pronunciation area of my course and start with the first lesson. So I said that you need to take a look at lesson number 8. So in pronunciation, you go to lesson 8. The and the ah, pat, pot, right? So you're going to click on this. Then you want to go through this lesson. Each of my lessons takes approximately maybe 10
Contrasting the vowels A and A.
See how that works?
Listen to repeat the pair.
So what I want you to do is go through these lessons and practice all the exercises that you see in the video. And then particularly when you get to the end of the video, I have some sentences and some paragraphs.
Voice recording exercise 2.
For example, here, this is a practice exercise that you can work on when you do your voice recording. So you should listen to me read the paragraph several times, and then eventually you want to read the paragraph and record it, and then compare your recording to my recording. Now, some students, if you're interested, I have TOEFL private lessons. I can actually help you one-on-one as you go through all these lessons if you want a little bit more specific feedback, right? I do have that option. You can go over to Better TOEFL Scores and go to, it's called TOEFL Private Lessons, and you can learn a little bit about that option. I'm not saying you have to take it. It may not fit your budget. But anyway, you should practice all of these recommended lessons that I just pointed out in this email, and really work on speaking more naturally in those specific vowel and consonant sound areas. Okay, now the next step is I'm going to listen to your natural speaking. Just hearing your pronunciation is not enough. I want to hear you answer some specific questions, and that helps me understand a little bit more about any possible speaking limitations you might have. Because remember that the TOEFL score, the TOEFL score that you get, it's not just based on delivery or pronunciation, it's also based on language use and also topic development. Therefore, by listening to your recording here, I can get more information about your language use and topic development areas of your speaking proficiency and see if there's any possible problems in those areas. Okay, here we go. So you're going to answer these 3 questions. What is your educational background and work history? Why is it important for you to improve your speaking and pronunciation abilities of American English? And what do you hope to achieve in this course? And this is my TOEFL Speaking Bootcamp course.
And part B, my educational
Let me go back to what you just said.
through though worthy. And part B.
Yeah, notice that it's part B. Right, I'll give you a tip. Check this out. If you look at how I say the sound, the P, right? Watch what happens to the, if you take a piece of paper, put it in front of your mouth like this. Part. You're kind of saying part B. I'm saying part B. Part B. See that? So remember that with the P, it's very different from the B. You need to have more aspiration coming out of your mouth.
My educational background is I'm a nurse. I graduated 2004 as a nurse back in Finland, where I come from originally. Even I live in California now.
What? I also live in California. I think you live down in Irvine. I live up in Oak Hills. We're probably about an hour apart.
So I graduated 2004.
You want to say graduated. I graduated in 2004. Now, also, you want to vary your intonation a little more than you are. You're speaking kind of a monotone there.
I worked in a university hospital for many years. Then my daughter was born 2009.
Okay.
My son was born 2011, so I stayed home for a couple of years. And then I went back to work, I think 2003.
Okay.
And so I worked like over 10 years as a nurse.
Now, I would probably say, so I have worked over 10 years as a nurse, right? If you're still functioning as a nurse right now, I think the present perfect tense is going to work better than the simple past. Let me listen to how you said that one more time.
I went back to work, I think 2000 something, 2013, 14. And so I worked like over 10 years as a nurse before we moved here 2017 because of my husband's work. And
Oh, maybe say, so I had worked as a nurse before we moved here, blah, blah, blah. So maybe the past perfect is going to work better because you're talking about working as a nurse, which is one past action. You're also talking about moving here to California, which is your second past action. So to show how the one action occurs before the other, it's probably better to use the past perfect tense on that first verb. So maybe if you go to Google and you want to learn a little bit more about this, here are your key words. How to use the past perfect tense in English grammar. Or compare the past perfect tense with the simple past verb tense in English grammar. So see if you can study up on that a little bit, learn a little bit more about verb tenses.
I would like to get the license to work as a nurse here in California too.
Okay.
So that's why I have to improve my speaking, and I need to get the 26 of 30 for TOEFL to get the TOEFL to get the license, and that's what I want to achieve from this course. Thank you.
Okay.
So here's the.
Okay, so now let's take a look at your intelligibility. So I got a pretty good idea. You need 26. I think that there are some language use limitations, maybe with verb tenses, for example. You definitely have some delivery issues, and I already pointed some of these out with your vowel and your consonant sounds, right? This is going to be tough. I really strongly consider it may not fit your budget, but TOEFL private lessons might also help you get past that 26 threshold, right? It's a pretty good investment. I just helped somebody last month get over 27 on the speaking, and it wasn't easy. Her initial score was 23, and it took us about 6 weeks. So think about it. Anyway, based on your performance, I'm looking at your level here. Obviously, you've been here many years. You're comfortable speaking English. You're not perfect. You have some problems. I'm going to put you at about 4.5 right now out of 7. I think right here kind of describes your situation. So I think to get better, you need to improve in delivery and language use areas. Now, the next step is start sending me speaking practice beginning today. I need to now listen to your speaking practice test and start giving you feedback, not just in delivery, but also in language use and topic development. So the more speaking practice you send, and I do have limitations here, you can send me one practice test every 24 hours. Right now, if you choose the TOEFL private lessons, we can do speaking practice for a full hour each day, and we can do up to 5 or 6 different practice tests, or we can do pronunciation practice on these specific lessons I've already outlined. Okay, so those are some of my comments right now. Thank you for doing the pronunciation pretest. You joined my course yesterday. You sent me the pretest yesterday. What does that tell me? That tells me you're very serious about improving your pronunciation and your speaking abilities of English. And remember, the main reason that you are improving your speaking, let's move beyond the TOEFL. You want to be able to communicate with people in English clearly, confidently, and coherently. These are your goals. You want to be able to communicate with your patients as a nurse. And many of your patients will be older. They'll be like me or older than me. So they will not understand. Their hearing may not be that good. So you have to really make sure you're speaking very, very clearly to those older people, or they will not be able to understand what you're saying. All right? And if you have any questions at all, send me an email.